If these things happen, it might be lights out for the Pixel line this fall. What's up, everybody? This is Scott. Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about these different factors that if they were to happen, I think they might cause the Google Pixel 6 and the Pixel 6 Pro to fail. These are in no particular order or anything else like that. I just think if these things happen, it's going to cause a lot of headache for Google to get any type of market share as it relates to the Pixel 6 and the Pixel 6 Pro. The first thing, and this is going to be one of the Achilles heels that has always been the case for Google and every phone or every device that they ever put out, is the lack of availability. And I'm not talking about just the lack of availability from a worldwide perspective. You could even see it with the Pixel 5a. And this, again, I get it. We're going through a global pandemic and things of that nature. But the idea is it only released in 2 different regions, both the US and Japan. And it's one of those things that if you're trying to get, again, a lot of market share to completely take out the UK and everything like that, I feel like that was an egregious miss, especially as it relates to, and it's an outstanding device for $450, the Google Pixel 5a, but to have that only come out in 2 different regions from a worldwide perspective, that seems like a huge miss to me. But outside of that, and the fact that the Pixel 6 and the Pixel 6 Pro have got to release in many, many more countries than they have historically in the past, I think we have to have the ability to have the devices available in the United States. There's no question that the United States, much like Apple, is the biggest buyer as it relates to smartphones for both Google and Apple. So there's no question about that. What Google cannot do is have logistics issues where the phones are either lost in transit or just not available at all because there's just not a lot of them to be available. Lack of availability. If I order a phone, it should be there within just a few days so you continue to get the hype as it relates to get it. I don't want to have the whole thing happen like where I'm ordering a phone like Apple has recently gone through. I order a phone and I get it like a month later. You cannot have that when you're trying to be in the position that Google's in. Apple can get away with it because they have the masses that are willing to just wait days and days and weeks to get something like that. Google doesn't have that luxury. With the Pixel 6 and the Pixel 6 Pro, Google has to get these in the hands of individuals much faster than they have in the past. Therefore, lack of availability or availability in general has got to be something that Google gets figured out with the Pixel 6 and the Pixel 6 Pro. I've harped on this next thing, and I know Adam from Tech Odyssey has harped on this next thing, but from a pricing perspective, Google has got to price this thing right. And in addition to that, give good trade-in values for devices to come into the Google ecosystem. Now, the rumored prices that are out there of €649 and €899, I think are priced pretty darn well from a Pixel 6 and a Pixel 6 Pro perspective. However, if it goes much more beyond that, you're going to be starting to price yourself out of what Apple would be an iPhone 13 Pro and 13 Pro Max, as well as what Samsung has to offer. You can't really go much beyond what they're already saying from the Euro price perspective. Better yet, coming in drastically cheaper than that would give you another good reason for individuals to switch to the Pixel line. Couple that with really good trade-ins, and I think you can be successful. However, if you were to have higher prices and very poor trade-ins, you really are not going to get a lot of people to switch. I can go to AT&T right down the street right now and get a brand new iPhone for free by trading in one of the devices that are on my desk right now. Now, they have got to offer some sort of trade-in like that to get these devices in the hands of individuals. Better yet, by doing that, you get locked into the ecosystem for at least 30, if not 36 months. Because if I were to go to AT&T right now, trade in one of my devices for an iPhone 13 Pro or an iPhone 13 Pro Max, I'm getting bill credits on my account for at least 36 months. That's going to keep me fairly well locked in to that phone for at least those 3 years. Those are really good ways to get people to stay in the Google ecosystem outside of the fact that you already have the best Google Assistant there, but people have got to have a reason to stay in there, and money talks. And that is the biggest thing right now Google has to overcome. The last thing that I want to talk about specifically is if these things happen, it's really going to be hard for the Google Pixel 6 and 6 Pro not to be considered a failure, is if it had constant hardware issues or had any type of hardware issues at all, and we have unfortunately historically seen this on Google's part as well. From screen panel issues to battery life issues to heating issues when recording 4K 60 to poor battery life in the Pixel 4, you name it, everything in between, there has been some hardware follies that have happened as it relates to the Pixel line. So these are the things that cannot happen. Unfortunately, while perfection is not necessarily something that is attainable, the Pixel 6 and the Pixel 6 Pro have got to come out and come swinging to make sure they don't have any of these hardware follies that have befallen some of their cousins and siblings from the years gone by. This tensor chip can't be a battery hog at all, and it can't have any heating issues like you're seeing on the Snapdragon 888. So all these little hardware issues that kind of run amok in previous versions of the Pixel, we can't have that in order for this thing to be successful. If any of these things were to happen, you could probably overcome one. If a multitude of these things happen that I've talked about so far happen, that's going to be really hard to overcome because unfortunately Google has this reputation and people love to pick on Google, but they have got to come out and effectively be as bulletproof as possible when it comes to the Pixel 6 and the Pixel 6 Pro. So that's it. That's all I have. Thanks for watching. And as always, like, share, subscribe, thumbs up, leave a comment below, and we'll see you next time.